This is just a quick disclaimer. I was hyper caffeinated when I was recording this video and watching it back. I'm fucking going a million miles an hour. But regardless of that, you're going to learn exactly how we do our webinars because all we do is webinars and live events for our clients in the info, coaching, and consulting space. So go and enjoy. So here at Webinar Wizards, we specialize in doing live events and webinars for coaches, consultants, and info product owners. And in this video, I'm going to basically break down on a chart exactly how we do it. So you can just copy it and you can just go and do it yourself. I'm going to be going through this document here today. And if you don't know who I am, my name's Charlie McCormack. I'm the founder and director of Webinar Wizards, which is we do what we say in the name. And I also run a podcast called Progressors Network. I'm currently doing done for you webinars, full circle and live event campaigns actively for clients. I have multiple six figures in direct attributable revenue working with some of the big names in the info space like Callum Carver, Aston Haslam, working with growth operators like Zach Morton, Morley Trends, everyone like that. And we also, this is our podcast here. So here's how this video is going to go. I'm going to move over to the Lucid chart in a moment where I have everything mapped out. But here's what you're going to learn in this video. I'm going to show you the tech stack that we use, everything that you need to do before you announce the campaign. So all the assets that you're going to need to get together, where to get your signups from, different traffic channels, how to set up your CRM and your automations for this, how to build your landing page, your confirmation page, how to actually get people to show up, how to write the script, how to turn the script into a presentation, what to do actually when you're on the call, how to maximize the webinar revenue afterwards with the follow-up campaign. If you want the document that we're going to be walking through today, which is this, so you can just have it and you don't have to rewatch the video, then you'll be able to get that in the link in the description. And if you want our script, you'll be able to get it when you sign up for our newsletter. It'll get sent to you straight away. So here is the doc that I have just mapped out. And this is essentially the exact process that we use to actually implement webinars for our clients. So I'm going to start off by telling you tech stack and the stuff that you need to consider before you actually go and do the webinar. So the first things first is that when we do these campaigns for our clients, I personally use Go High Level. Most of our clients already use Go High Level, but if they don't, we advise them that they should go and create a Go High Level account because we can build a landing page on there, we can build the CRM on there, we can send emails on there, we can send text messages on there, and we can basically do absolutely everything that we need to do. So if you want to use Go High Level, then you can download this doc and you can go and get Go High Level if you don't already have it. For emails, you can use ConvertKit. They look nice. A lot of people already have a ConvertKit account. For the actual webinar hosting platform, we personally use Webinar Jam because the majority of the stuff that we're doing is B2C or a less advanced B2B market. We're not doing like B2B webinars as in it's on LinkedIn. We're primarily doing it, promoting it through YouTube, email list, and mostly through Instagram as well. And then you're also going to need a Zapier or an Integrately account to connect your CRM to your webinar hosting platform. You can also use Zoom for the webinar hosting platform. We just personally use Webinar Jam, and in this video, I'm just going to show you exactly how we do everything that we do. Here is the pre-webinar stuff, and here's the stuff that before, if you own an info product or you are a coach and you're watching this video, here are some of the things that I would recommend that you do before you go and do anything. So you've got the idea that you want to do a webinar. Now, the single most important thing that you can do when you're putting together a webinar campaign, this is specifically a live event, this isn't an automated webinar, is to pick the right angle to come at it from and also the right value proposition. Because if you don't do this, then you're going to be fighting against the tide and people aren't going to be interested in the information that you're offering them. Because essentially what we're doing with a webinar is we're inviting people to come and learn as opposed to telling them to get on a call or buy from us straight away. So here is some questions that I will ask myself and that I will go through with my clients when we're sitting down in the onboarding process. So we'll ask like what separates their offer from their competitors. So for example, we did a webinar for a property offer, and the property offer was specifically around raising finance and using other people's money. That is what his offer is to do with. That's what he's showing people how to do. And that is the one main thing the majority of his clients go to him for. So what do? We picked the perfect angle, which was a raising finance masterclass. And we said, right, come along. We're going to show you exactly how to raise finance. It's also their biggest barrier. It's what they struggle with the most because they don't have the network. And how can we attract the most amount of qualified people is all the people who are interested in raising finance. So for example, one that we did for Callum Carver was we took a theme around 2025, and one of his highest performing reels was one of him talking about how many days were left in a year. So obviously that angle resonates well with his audience. So we said, come along and let's show you the step-by-step roadmap that you can use going into this year to use your existing skill to start a business that generates you between 5 to 10k by March in 2025, because his offer is all about turning your normal skills into profit. So that's a real world application of how we apply this for clients. So once you have that angle nailed down, what you're going to need to do is, if you are going to put an ad budget behind this, which I recommend you do, like we have ran them purely organic. And don't get me wrong, they do well. We've done 40k, we've done 138k, we've done 16k on them before. And we're about to do one that we're estimating is probably going to do about 100k. And we haven't used ads for any of them. But I would always recommend that if you do have it in your budget, then use ads. So what you're going to need to do first is you're going to build the funnel, and you're going to have to write a mini VSL and a confirmation video, build the CRM and the automations. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So first things first is here is how we're going to be promoting the webinar primarily. So depending on what platform you're on, we typically deal with creators and entrepreneurs who are Instagram and YouTube focused, because they are just the biggest platforms. Some TikTok as well, but the TikTok audience obviously isn't amazing. But obviously, yeah, short form is kind of TikTok. So how you're going to be promoting this campaign is you're going to be posting short form content. You're going to be posting stories on this platform. You're going to do a single long form video sending the drivers from your YouTube channel to the webinar. You're going to be running paid ads, and you're going to be sending emails to your existing list. So we cover pretty much all bases here. Your existing customers, new customers through paid ads, existing YouTube audience, existing Instagram and short form audience. Now with paid ads, we'll run them to an opt-in page, not straight to the landing page, so we can capture the data, and we actually get the lowest cost per lead that we see on any other funnel through a live webinar campaign, just to let you know. So here's how you're going to set up this email sequence. Now you're going to have to write the emails. I like to write the emails before, just so I get the angles right for them. But you'll have an announcement email on the day that you announce the webinar, obviously. And then you're going to have an email every other day until the day before the campaign. So for example, let's say you were doing it 10 days before. On the 10th day, you would send the announcement email. You would send one on 8, 6, 4, 2, and the day before. So that's how every other day makes sense. And then day before, 12 hours before, 3 hours before, and 5 minutes before. And that will look something like an automation in Go High Level or ConvertKit. If you need help setting that up, then you can always drop us a message and we'll show you how to do that. So that's how you're going to get your traffic to this. Next thing is you need a landing page that is going to convert. Now you can make a simple opt-in page if you're using paid ads to get the cost per lead up, and then just send them to this landing page. But you want a brow that makes it clear that this is a webinar. So for example, we have the countdown here that is counting down to the time when the webinar is going live. You want a headline which effectively communicates the value proposition that you picked at the beginning, and then you want some sort of sub-headline that makes it seem easy for them, or that you're going to give them something. So using my inner circle accelerator process, which is the one that we went with for this webinar. And then we want a mini VSL. So by a mini VSL, same structure as a normal VSL, but maybe 2 to 3, maximum 4 minutes long, because we're just trying to persuade people to sign up for the webinar, which shouldn't be too much of a task, especially if it's a free one. So we want a mini webinar, we want a sign up button. I like to put a little sales letter on here as well, just so when people are going through, they can kind of read it and it makes it clear that it is a live event. We want some sort of lead magnet that they know about. So for example, in the sales letter here, we told them that they were going to get access to a skill calculator, and they were also going to get access to a worksheet for the, why is it doing thumbs up? That they were going to get access to a worksheet for the live event. So you wanted the lead magnet, and then you want who is. So for example, like who is Callum Carver, and then you want some testimonials and social proof here to see what other people have been able to do and why people should join. So once they register for this, there'll be an automation, and this is just what we do if you use the tech stack that we do, is that they opt in to the Webinar Jam sign up page, and then they will get registered in Go High Level. And we use Zapier to connect the two in terms of the tech stack. And then what you'll get here is a confirmation page. Now the confirmation page is really important because with the confirmation page, your job is to bridge the gap from when they sign up. So for example, if you were going to do 10 or maybe even 2 weeks of promotion, let's say someone was to sign up on the first day, right? You now have 10 days to keep them engaged through content and through other methods that I'm going to show you later on. But essentially to keep them updated and keep reminding them that you're going to be doing the webinar, and we want to set them off on a journey of consuming your content. So what we'll do here is we'll film a small confirmation video, and we'll also put everything that we want them to do between now and the webinar all on this one page. So for example, as you can see here, we told them to join the broadcast channel in his Instagram bio to keep them updated because people check their Instagram DMs probably more than they check their email. We give them the 2 lead magnets here. We give them the link to the class here. And we also tell them what to do before the live event starts. So we tell them to watch the video above, watch it on a desktop or a laptop. We just tell people to do that because it's a B2C market and we don't want people fucking sat on their phone scrolling away. Add the class to their calendar. That goes in the email link, but now we actually use this here. So it's a button that you can embed onto the landing page that will add the event to their calendar so they don't miss it. And then we ask them to come to the class, making sure that they've filled out the skill calculator because we want them to be qualified and have an idea about what skill they're going to use before this. So really think about how your lead magnets give you an advantage on this webinar. So for example, the reason we did this is because we thought, right, what is a bad situation? And a bad situation is that we get people on this webinar and they're not confident in themselves and their ability and they don't feel like this would work for them. So how can we solve that? We can give them a skill calculator so they're actually clear on what skill they can use. And during all this time, you'll have emails going out. So here's just an example of an email that we wrote for a client. And then we have the continued campaign promotion, which should be going on all throughout the process from announcement all the way to doing the webinar itself. Now, this is still, you've got to do your long form video, you're going to keep your ads running, you're going to have your emails going out in the same cadence that I showed you beforehand. And we'll just come back to the confirmation page. When you build your lead magnets, make them easy to download, make sure they've got the link, and then keep up the housekeeping rules in there as well. So once people have signed up, we want to then add them to a new email sequence. So this will be the email sequence for people who have registered for the campaign. And you should then set up an automation that then removes them from the emails that we were doing before, because we're no longer trying to get them to sign up, we're trying to get them to show up. So the email cadence is essentially the same as the previous one in that you have your confirmation email as opposed to an announcement email. So that's the email that they'll get when they sign up. And then we'll send them an email every other day until the day before, which will also send them an SMS. We'll do that on the other ones as well. 12 hours before, 3 hours before, 5 minutes before, and then an SMS 5 minutes before. So what you're also going to want to do, like we did here, is we added people to an Instagram broadcast chat just because Callum already has a big one, is that we will add them to a WhatsApp, a Telegram, or a Facebook group. Now, this is most of the webinars that we do, like I've said, are in a B2C market. People are far more likely to check their WhatsApp, their Telegram, or their Facebook, or their Instagram in our case, than they are to check their emails. And they also know that text messages are automated because I don't think people are stupid anymore. Now, in here, the advantage that we have with putting people, especially in something like a WhatsApp group where they can see your number, obviously create a new number, don't give people your actual number, is that we increase the proximity of the person who they've been following to them, and they feel like they're part of this exclusive event and they will feel more close, they're more likely to show up, which is ultimately the goal of doing this. Share voice notes, make sure that people get the lead magnets, share videos, share insights, get people excited for the event. And it's mainly just a driver to get people excited and to remind them that the webinar is still happening, on top of the emails, the text messages, them getting all of the promotion on Instagram and what other social media platforms you're promoting it on. Oh, I forgot about this. So here's the CRM and the automations and how we typically lay it out. I should have talked about this earlier on. So when you're actually building it, here's how I like to build mine. And this will make a bit more sense later on when we talk about the follow-up process. So each of these stages will be a stage in the CRM, and it will have an automation link to it that we link between Webinar Jam. And it will be campaign enrolled, so that will be the nurture sequence that we enroll people into. Then once they register for the event, they'll change pipeline, they'll get put into a new automation. And then we'll also have an automation set up with Zapier and Webinar Jam, where if they've left before the pitch, but they turned up, we'll put them into one pipeline. If they turned up and they watched the pitch, we'll put them into a different pipeline. If they filled out the application, we'll put them in that pipeline. If they booked a call, we'll put them in that pipeline. And if they purchased directly on the webinar, then we will put them in that pipeline. And the reason for this is that when we go and do the follow-up later on, which I'll show you how to do, we work backwards in order because the leads are almost warmest to coldest, because you have the people who've actually sit and consumed, we have the people who've applied, who've booked a call, who will just go through your normal sales process once they've booked a call. And that's what we're doing to people once they've registered. So we're putting them in that flow, we're putting them in the chat, and we're doing the promotion until the webinar starts. Now you actually have to do a pretty important thing, and you have to build a webinar itself. So you've basically just built a funnel up until this point. Now we actually have a webinar script that we use to personally fulfill, and it's less of a script and it's more of a framework. So we will basically fill in the gaps in the way that we basically just the way that we do things in the right order, so that we build the right momentum, we build the right intention, and we build the right feeling with the audience while we're doing it. Now, I suggest that you write the script in a Google Doc or a Word document, and you can use our high converting webinar script that you can use when you sign up to our newsletter. It'll get sent to you straight away. So we will put the framework into a Google Doc, and then from there we will fill in the sections. And the first thing that we do, or I do, because I actually write the script, I have people who take care of the emails and stuff, but I actually write the script, is that I will write as much as I can. Right, I will write as much as I can at first, because I have all the ideas and the different angles and everything that are coming into my head for the client, and then we'll go back and I'll subtract it, and I'll neaten it up and I'll make it better. So I'll go in, I'll see what I wrote before, and you should be doing this as well if you're writing it, is go in, write as much as you can, go back, get rid of stuff, make stuff hit harder, and then go and add more again, and then just keep repeating that process until you write the script and you read it through and you speak it through as if you're the client as well. So if you are actually writing your own script, this is going to be fine for you because you know your tonality, you know the way you speak. But if you're doing this for a client, and I'm sure there'll be some of you watching this video who want to see how we do things to fulfill for your clients because you don't know how to do it, then just write in your client's voice and try and do what you think they would have, and also send it to them to review as well. Now, depending on your market, we typically will do a presentation, and I like to build them on Canva, or I like to do them on Gamma Doc like this, because you can literally just put your script in and it'll turn it into a Gamma Doc, or we can turn it into a Canva Docs, just because I like the design features on Canva and they're easy to use. So you're going to turn the scripts into a presentation, PowerPoint, Gamma Doc, Canva Doc, or just a Google Doc with visuals. Serge Guattari does this really nicely. So he just uses a Word document, and then he'll put a bunch of stuff like lucid charts on there. He will also put photos on there, testimonials on there, and he lays it out really nicely, and it's quite easy to use. But that works for his market because he's targeting people who are a little bit more sophisticated. Whereas if you're in a proper B2C market, you probably want a presentation or something. And if you're using Webinar Jam, then you want to import this presentation into Webinar Jam. Now, on the call SOPs. By on the call, I mean, this is what you're doing beforehand when you're actually putting the presentation together while people are registering and while that's all been built. When you're actually on the call, this is when you're starting it. First things first that I actually forgot to put on here is do a test run. So do a test run with a sales rep or a setter or just a member of your team to make sure that all the tech works smoothly and you know where everything is. So when you actually join the call and you have hundreds, if not thousands of people joining you, then you don't freeze and you get any of the tech wrong or anything. Now, here's what we like to do actually on the call. So we will get our sales reps of our clients and our setters on the call under different names. And what they should be doing is they should be proactively looking at the chat, watching the presentation, and taking notes of common questions that are being asked. And they should also be taking note of anyone who seems keen, anyone who's showing some real activity in the chat and asking loads of questions. And then they should also ask questions under this different name that will steer prospects in the right direction. So for example, asking a question that would overcome a common objection because they're the sales reps and they know. So asking a question, and then whoever the presenter is can then answer that question. We do that with our clients and it works really well because we're almost just like subtly objection handling as it goes on, and people think that it's coming from a webinar attendee. So that works really well. And this is for the actual presenter. If you're the person doing this, don't get lost in the presenting and forget that the audience are there. It's very easy when, especially using a platform like Webinar Jam, when you can't actually see the people on there, it's very easy to just focus on the presentation and forget that you have hundreds, if not thousands of people watching you at the same time. So constantly make sure you're mindful that they are there, speak to them, get commitments from them, and make sure that you're holding their attention. And when you pitch, the sales team and the setters should also be sharing the booking links and the payment links. Now get a moderator. Now you want someone on Webinar Jam or whatever software you're using to have admin control while you're presenting. We moderate all of our clients' webinars just to make sure there's no trouble or people in there who need to be muted or kicked out or anything, because these things do happen, especially if you're in a B2C market. You might get, I saw Ben Bader and Pierre Corey do one a few months back and everyone was commenting, nice try Diddy on there, which obviously wasn't great for them. And then campaign maximization. So once you've pitched them using our script, you've pitched them because you've turned the script into a presentation, the sales reps have been doing their job, you've got a moderator and everything. Now it's time for campaign maximization. And the reason I've put this there is this is non-fucking negotiable, okay? Most people, and it infuriates the hell out of me, and it's something that we make very clear to clients, right, is that we will make more money from the post-webinar follow-up than actually on the call itself, or we'll book more calls in the follow-up than we will actually on the webinar itself, because it's just the way the cookie crumbles. People aren't going to there's going to be more people who don't take initiative than people who do. So the campaign does not end when the call ends. The campaign ends when every lead has been contacted multiple times and you have maximized the campaign. So the non-negotiables here are post-webinar emails, right? So you need to be sending everyone who signed up for the campaign emails promoting the offer that you have just made on the call. And the appointment setters need to either dial, so actually ring them, or message, or both, every single person who didn't book a call or buy, right? And you will have this all mapped out in the pipelines that I gave you earlier. In fact, I'm going to go and drag that over just so I can demonstrate what I'm talking about. Wow. So for example, if someone applied to work but didn't book a call, they need to be called and or messaged. If someone left after the pitch, they need to be called and or messaged. If someone left before the pitch, they need to be called and or messaged. If someone registered for the event and didn't show up, they need to be sent the replay via message or via email or both. And if someone just didn't even sign up for the event altogether, they should still be getting this offer promoted to them. That's just how we maximize the campaign, because you've just put all this effort in to make a long form sales presentation and a great piece of content. Why put it to waste, and why just show it to the people who were there? So that is absolutely non-negotiable. Every single person has to be contacted at least once, if not multiple times. Treat them like you would any other lead. If you were running ads and you were getting leads in, you would maximize every single lead. But when people do webinars, they're just like, oh, loads of people are signing up. Let's just treat them as a number rather than a person who could actually qualify and be helped by the product or service that you are offering. And if you work backwards through the CRM, start with those who had an offer made and then work backwards, which is what I'm talking about earlier, because they're the warmest leads and some of them will have actually watched the pitch. Now, this is optional, but recommended, right? I don't know why you would go into all the effort to do one of these campaigns and then not do the rest. So promote this long form piece of content that you have just created everywhere that you can. If they didn't attend, first of all, offer people a replay, maybe even a paid replay. So I've seen Serge Katari do this really well, where he will say like, oh, 10, 20 quid for a replay. And we're going to start implementing this with our clients as well. Because if you just give people a replay, it's highly unlikely that they're just going to sit down in their own time and just watch this full webinar completely undistracted. But there will be people who genuinely missed it, who genuinely want a replay. And if they do want it and they're serious about it, then we'll make them pay for it, right? And you can liquidate the ad spend through doing that. You can create a post-webinar landing page with the webinar offer on. So if I go to something like this that Serge Katari does, that we're going to start doing for our clients as well, is putting this into a landing page to then promote afterwards, as you can see here. So this is its own landing page in and of itself that can get sent out to people. And as you can see here, it'll be an O for in regards to the webinar. And you can also film a VSL for the top of here as well, just going over the doc, going over the mini webinar. And then after 7 to 10 days, after everyone who's willing to pay for a replay will pay for it, upload it to YouTube, record an intro. You can even put a little bit of ad spend running ads from a platform like Facebook or Meta straight to the actual YouTube video itself. Now, the campaign does not stop when the webinar is over. If you are doing this for yourself, you need to tell your team, to tell your sales reps, the campaign does not stop when the webinar is over. It stops when everyone has been followed up multiple times. And I know I've said it and I'm hitting my desk because you need to hear that. You will make so much more money if you do this than if you don't. You have people who have just sat through a massive sales presentation and you're just going to let them go. So take a note of the non-negotiables, take a note of the CRM or the automations. Like I said, if you want this document to use for yourself, that's the process that we map out. If you want to see how we made Aston Haslam £138,000 from one webinar with no ad spend, you can go and watch the case study breakdown below. If you want the doc, you'll find it in the description. And if you just want to work with us and you don't want to do any of this and you want us to do it completely done for you, you want us to do everything for you, then there'll be a link in the description to come and book a walkthrough call with us and also watch our explainer video showing you how we implement this into our current clients' companies and also how we can implement this into your company. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching the video. Bye-bye.